Hello and welcome to STAX TC1, Teacher Certification 1. Today we'll be talking about decoding. There are 3 parts for today's talk: the 5 golden rules, the 8 ways, and STAX efficacy. The golden rules. There are 5 rules for decoding. What is decoding? Decoding is the ability to read and pull sentences out of the STAX maps. Rule number 1, phrase by phrase. When we look at a STAX map, it can seem a little daunting the first time you see it. But if you realize there are many phrases that make up a sentence, it's easier to break it down. Here's a noun phrase, the clumsy cat. Here's a verb phrase, has been chasing. Another noun phrase, prepositional phrase, conjunction. The other 4 rules all apply to each of those phrases. So left to right, rule number 1. When we look at our map, we come across from the left, and the first thing that we hit, that's what we say. So the rule is to go left to right. Now that rule alone would produce the cat clumsy. So our second rule is finish your level, which would mean come from the left, we have the, and then clumsy, and obviously there's one word left, so we're going to say cat, but sometimes it's more complex. So go up is our last rule there. So the clumsy cat, very simple, the clumsy cat. And all STAX phrases work that way. There is one very common exception, that is supportive priority. First of all, what is supportive? Supportive in this instance is the arbitration that the top shape is the most important. That's, of course, just a logic rule that we made up. So we're saying that cat is the most important word here, and the and clumsy are supporting cat. Of course, the is not supporting mice, clumsy is not supporting ours. So in each noun phrase, the pieces below support the thing above. So that's supportive. So in this rule set, when you have something that is below, we come across, we have the, now we have a new word, very. What do? This is an exception to the finish your level rule. We would say the very clumsy cat. And don't worry about this too much. As you get maps, you'll have lots of practice decoding, but this is an initial exposure to the rules. Those are the 5 rules. Phrase by phrase, left to right, finish your level, go up, and supportive priority. Now, STAX is not necessarily English. It is a logical representation of language, and if you change the rules, you can produce other grammatical rule bases that will produce other complete sentences. Korean has a very different system for grammar. Actually, Chinese has a very similar grammatical system to English. I was surprised to find out. So this is the recipe for English-flavored STAX. Part 2, the 8 ways. When we're talking about a concept, there's 8 general ways we can discuss something. Let's say if we're talking about being hungry, a closed question might be, are you hungry? The affirmative response might be, yes I am. The negative response being, no I'm not. Open questions would include questions seeking the subject, questions seeking the object or complement, and a question seeking the predicate being the verb plus the object. Also, you have statements and negative statements that don't require questions, like I'm hungry or I'm not hungry. So let's look at some examples of that. Number 1, is she flying a kite? That's the the closed question. The affirmative response. Number 2, yes she is. Number 3, no, she isn't. Y fingers. Number 4a, this is the instance where we don't know who is flying a kite. We know someone is, so that she here is hidden. And we say, who is the contraction, who's flying a kite? 4b is the unknown object, the kite. She is flying something, but we don't know what. So the kite, a kite here, is hidden. And we would say for B, what is, contraction, what's she flying? Now in the instance we say, for example, call somebody on the phone, we don't know what they're flying. We don't even know if they're flying. We don't know what they're doing. So in that instance, we don't know the verb and we don't know the object, which that makes up the predicate. So the predicate is unknown. So we would say for V because V stands for an unknown verb. For V is, what is she doing? And the statement and answer to all the 4 questions is number 5. This is bridge, she's flying a kite. And a negating sentence would be, she isn't flying a kite. You can pause the video if you'd like to read these over. I'll just skip over it. Your turn. Give it a try. So here's the map, and number 1, is she flying a kite? You can pause the video to try this yourself. When you come to flying, don't use 2 fingers, just use 1 finger for flying, 1 finger for doing. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4A. Number 4B. Oh, sorry, number 4B. Number 4V. Number 5. And 5X. So those are the 8 ways that you can navigate through the basic STAX form. Of course, there are longer sentences with many more sentences to decode from the STAX map, but this is the beginning. Those are the 5 golden rules of decoding and the 8 ways. So part 3, advocating for efficiency. Consider this. This sentence, she's flying a kite. This has 15 letters, 15 characters. Whereas this map, which wouldn't make much sense to you right now, but after you're STAX fluent, it'll make a lot of sense. That only has 12. Now that doesn't seem very impressive. Wow, this is 3 characters shorter than a sentence. However, when you consider that this equals this information, and that information takes up about 136 characters, that's much more impressive. So kids have a way to generate precise sentences and feel good and confident about what they're doing. 12 things is much easier to remember than 136. And that 12 encoded with it the ability to generate all of those sentences. So for me, I think that's a great reason that kids should be learning how to use this system. Thank you. STAX responsibly. Have a good day.